Oh. I thought we were dressed. Where's your costume? I thought we were getting all dressed up. I got this nice. No, it's cool. I thought we were. I'll just go. I'll go. It's okay. Halloween is only probably like a few days away, depending on when I post this video. I don't know, but I absolutely love this time of year. You've got the weather, which is actually pretty ass right now. It's 84 degrees outside. Today, like the day that I'm recording this, it's 84 degrees, so I don't know how to feel about that. But besides that, you've got the movies. I absolutely love scary movies, and over the years, I've watched more than I can remember or really want to, honestly. But I thought, hey, since we're getting close, why not show you guys the scariest movie ever? If you're a child, pregnant, or have a pre-existing heart condition, you might just want to click off this video now because things are gonna get crazy. The movie's called Halloween Party. I'd hate to be invited to one of those, you know, with like the awesome costumes and like, and yeah, that'd be terrifying. We open up to these two ladies, Grace and Zoe, going over Zoe's pictures to Thailand. Eventually, they get a virus pop up asking their biggest fear. So this entire movie is actually based around what they're calling a meme. I don't know if you can see. A meme. I don't really know why they call it that, but it's just like a creepypasta kind of virus thing. Basically, you tell it your biggest fear or your biggest fear comes and kills you, which doesn't make sense because if you don't tell it and your biggest fear, how did it know? You know what I mean? How did it know? You didn't tell it. So we find out that Zoe's biggest fear is pig people. Very, very specific fear. She's scared of like humanoid pigs. She's scared of them because they eat everything. And you know what? That's fair. She tells a story about how her uncle got eaten by a pig person. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's weird. She's about to enter pig people, but she's like, well, let's see what happens if we don't. And we get this like little witch lady and we think nothing of it, right? Oh, also, I just want to say the dialogue in this movie is just atrocious. It is awful to listen to.
You have a guest. Hello.
Not now, Bubbles. Shut the door.
Darren Danowski, HIV negative.
She said shut the door.
She seems nice.
Is this where the roofie party's at?
What does that even mean, dude? What does that mean? Seriously though, I get that they're making fun of like the college frat dude stereotype, like the where are the hot babes at, dude? But they look less likely to be frat bros than I do. Fast forward to that night, Zoe is working the closing shift at this like mall clothing store when her coworker goes to the back room to like clean some stuff. I don't know. We see a little text string between Zoe and Grace and it is painfully millennial. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Honestly, the acting and the editing for this movie isn't that bad. You know, the acting was never bad enough that I was completely taken out of the movie. It was better than I expected, but good God, the script is just grating on my ears, man. The dialogue just hurts every time they drop another line.
Hey, Zoe, you have a virus.
Oh, I've seen that. It's a Halloween meme.
A what?
A Halloween meme. If you're gonna do a creepypasta, at least call it a creepypasta or do something a little cooler. You know, I want to see like a big, I want to see a huge budget blowout Sonic.exe movie. That would be awesome. After this, Zoe gets some text from that coworker saying, hungry. I like how you can tell this isn't their first take because they spammed empty text messages into the chat. Zoe thinks she's getting butt texted and kind of ignores it until she starts getting a series of weird pictures luring her into the back room. She gets back there and catches a glimpse of a pig person. Ah! Wait, no, it's a guy in a pig mask? No, okay. I'm pretty sure it's a pig guy in a pig guy mask. And that's actually kind of awesome. Like, it's like those Scooby-Doo scenes where they take off the mask and then it's just another mask under it. She eventually dies and I have to take back everything I said about the editing, man, because I'm just gonna play the death scene raw. That's actually where it cuts. I don't know why they cut the sound effects like that or why they bugged out the shot to look like a FNAF kill screen. Speaking of, I've been working on my Freddy jump scare. Was that good? Did that scare you guys? I'm gonna throw that into the video at some random point later on, so you better be prepared for it. The next morning, Grace gets a call that she died and just drives to the scene. I don't think cops or whoever called her would just let her go to the crime scene and take photos of the fucking murder mask. She just takes a photo of it and keeps walking. Like, she's just a college student. She's not like studying to be in CSI or anything at all. She's just a college lady. Anyways, we cut over to this really artsy, kind of cool title card. Where's it going? What? Okay. Bye, title card. Grace meets up with a friend of a friend who is the head of the nerd club, the computer science department, Spencer. He comes to talk to her and... What the fuck? That's me. That's me. They make fun of her for bad-mouthing computer science because they like pulled her text messages and tell her she's not very secure on the Wi-Fi and to, you know, never ever use the campus Wi-Fi, which, yeah, fair enough, you know, but the only thing that this movie does pretty well is they don't fall into that over-the-top hacker kind of tech vibe, you know? And they use pretty realistic references and programs and shit, which I was honestly pretty shocked about. I was not expecting them to boot up an Arch Linux VM. She fills him in on her friend dying, shows him the pig photo, and he's like, yeah, that's a pig. Pretty weird, man. I'll help you. I love when movies do that, when they kind of avoid the whole like skepticism part, and they're like, yeah, that's a creepy pig mask. I'll help you, man. He does an R0 search on his Arch Linux PC for what are you afraid of, and finds a missing persons report. He also mentions that this like virus or whatever it is has altered Google's code to erase itself, and talks about how insanely hard that is to do. Isn't Google open source? I'm kidding. I am not a programmer. I have no idea. But basically, he's just saying it's really weird and wants to look at it more. And I've never really understood ghost viruses and shit in movies. Like, does the ghost know how to code? Did it just kind of come back to life knowing? Or is it just, it can just do that because it's an evil spirit? I feel like I've never seen a movie properly explain how a ghost is messing with electronics. Except for Zach Baggins on Ghost Adventures. Go watch that show. That show's the best show ever made. Ever, you know? No show even comes close. They go back to Zoe's dorm and investigate the PC, and Grace notices they trashed her closet, so Spencer gives her this little hidden cam to set up. She never actually does that, she just puts it in her bag and it becomes important later, right? After that, they make this weird fourth wall break about being in a movie and talk about will they fuck movies?
I really like that you identify as like an 80s nerd.
Oh, are you kidding? Those are like my favorite movies.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Breakfast
They're
Club.
so good. I think it's because they're will they fuck movies, but I guess like all movies are.
What?
I don't know. It was really odd, man. It did not flow well at all with the movie and really felt like the director, while on set filming, was like, you know, fourth wall breaks are pretty cool. What if we put one of those in here? Can you guys just like figure that out and do it? A little bit later, in walks Bubbles, the roofie guy from earlier, right? Apparently he's called Bubbles because he went viral for being a baby in a tub. That would suck. I never really thought about that. Can you imagine the Charlie bit my finger kid is probably still getting made fun of for that. Anyways, he comes in to tell Grace he's sorry about what happened when all of a sudden his name pops up on the screen with the "What are you afraid of?" viral meme. He can't think of his worst fear and runs out of time on it and just kind of walks out, right? Nobody really thinks anything of it. Spencer somehow didn't get anything from this, not a packet capture. He got fucking nothing, dude. So he just heads out. He's like, I gotta go back to the lab. They leave at the end of the day, and I didn't really notice this until they're walking down these stairs, but he looks like he could be her son. Like, they do not look even close to the same age. Am I crazy? Maybe she looks like old or whatever. I don't know, but this better not be a will they fuck movie. Spencer gives some more lore drops about everyone and drops that Bubbles' worst fear isn't the exorcist like he put on the screen. It's actually the tall man.
I know his worst fear. It was the whole neighborhoods. The tall man.
That was not edited. They just kind of flash him on screen. It's really funny. I didn't touch that at all. Apparently he would just stand there and watch them on the playground as kids, so he's just a pedophile. I don't know. Also, if you haven't noticed, I feel like they just take a lot of other horror stories and cram them in here. Like, the virus is basically just Smile Dog. The tall man is just like Slender Man or the Grabber or whatever. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Fuck the Grabber. I hate the Grabber so much. Universal, you need to stop trying to make it happen. He's not cool. He's not scary. The Grabber is such a lame villain, dude. Stop it. I cannot bring myself to be scared of a dude named the Grabber. But yeah, apparently the tall man came into the sandbox when they were younger and grabbed Bubbles. He was actually fine though. Some adults were there, and I have to say, valid fear. You know, if I got grabbed by some dude out of the park, I'd probably be pretty scared of that dude too. Spencer and Grace part ways, and we cut over to Bubbles in his class. He's kind of goofing off, looking out the window and stuff, when all of a sudden he sees some man in the woods. I wonder who that could... It's the tall man. It's the tall man. I didn't wonder for a second. Bubbles freaks the fuck out and starts shouting about, he's here! Oh, he's here! And he then freaks out some more because he hears some knocking and screams, please don't open it. He's yelling at everybody, guys, please stop. And then the door swings open to reveal Pardeep.
You can't! You can't! You can't!
It's Pardeep! What did you do, Pardeep?
So weird. I don't know. He runs off and heads over to some random food truck to calm his nerves, I guess. And before we go any further, I want to mention this part specifically feels like they just one-to-one ripped off It Follows and a little bit Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The creature kind of just appears because it knows it's your worst fear. And then It Follows because it's just like a dude standing outside that's watching you and starts coming in slowly. Again, this movie just feels like it's ripping off every other horror movie that the director's seen before. Anyways, he gets up to the food truck, and while he orders from this really loud woman,
What can I help you with?
he notices this really tall-looking man in the truck that he didn't see at first, before the loud woman hands him the marbles of doom and despair. Seriously, he's fucking terrified, man. It's probably because of this guy. This movie has this really weird love of cutting sound effects super abruptly and that like shitty Mandela catalog look of just smudging the eyes and mouth to make it look uncanny. And I don't know, it can work sometimes, don't get me wrong. I'm not writing this off as a concept, but personally, I do not find this style of like jump scare scary 99% of the time. It just looks like a shitty YouTube poop edit. We come back to Grace and Spencer. Apparently Spencer found there was a rune hidden if he upped the contrast inside the virus, and it means those that hide, but is a reference for demons. And they go on a spiel about Dante's Inferno and demons, and this was actually kind of cool, except he implies that Dante was not a Catholic or Christian, which is just really odd because like he's one of the most widely known Roman Catholics ever. You literally just referenced his book. What? He implies that these are the more ancient version of demons, which are just corrupted people, and whoever made this meme or virus or whatever are probably that kind of demon, right? Also, he freeze frames on the video he took of Darren playing the game and sees this shot of like 4 dudes shadows, which is creepy, I guess. They also care way more about this than the rune, which actually, you know, means something and they could probably decipher, but they just really care about this shadow. Turns out they hadn't heard yet and find out Bubbles died on the playground yesterday. And I don't think that was a playground. That was a food truck, but also we saw 0.05 seconds of his death before they cut. So maybe he ran away a little bit. Also, plot hole I want to point out now so I don't forget. His 2 best friends who lived with him were literally in line with him. Look, you can see them right there. I'm looking at them. But then they don't believe any of this in the next scene in like 20 minutes or think anything of it at any point in the movie, which makes no sense. Like, can no one else see the creature? But that also doesn't make sense once we get later in the movie. I mean, do you think they just think Bubbles got slimed by some random dude in a food truck and didn't even try to help him? Like, what happened? What did they see? Grace and Spencer head back to Zoe's room to investigate some more, and they're convinced it's connected to her room because both people got infected in the room. Fair enough. Spencer inspects and unplugs a lot of the cords from PCs, which is very important for later. Remember that. She looks at some random weights on the floor and decides that this means the closet is the cause. Spencer goes in and drops a weight on the floor and it activates that evil ass meme again. It's got Grace's name on it, so she goes to type in, remember that important plot detail? Yeah, the cords are unplugged. What's she gonna do? She's running out of time. Oh, now her foot's got on the keyboard. Oh my god, now she's on the floor. No, 2 seconds ago. Come on, do it. What the fuck? Just plug it in. Also, yeah, her worst fear is vagina spiders. She thinks they're gonna crawl up there. They reference this a lot in the movie, and she gets way too detailed every time she talks about it. It's really odd. Anyway, Spencer cuts the closet carpet open and finds a bunch of bricks down there and says that they're rotting. The bricks? He says the bricks are Can they do that? Is that a thing? Is that a genuine question? Is that a thing? They decide to go to the library and ask about some maps, and the librarian just whips out a full diagram of all the iterations of the building, which is actually pretty cool. That's actually pretty fun. But again, the writing is painfully millennial, maybe even Gen X. We might be even getting into Gen X territory. She explains the entire campus used to be one massive hospital building, and all the dorms used to be pediatric care, right? And the worst part, the Grayson house where Zoe lived was palliative, which means terminal. So it was just filled to the brim with dying kids, man. Like, that's gotta suck. You know what I mean? You're living in there, you find out that it's full of dead kids. Not the best news you could have. Apparently Zoe's room was housing the last of the balloon babies.
Oh, that's right. The last of the balloon babies were there.
I'm sorry, the what? Also, Grace is bricked up.
Bricked up?
So apparently some company poisoned the water supply in the 70s, which gave birth to balloon babies and jelly children. Lovingly named this because they were horribly mutated. What an awful Nick, that's so mean. And yeah, they just stuffed these balloon babies in a basement that has since been bricked up and filled in according to the map. The librarian gives them an old documentary about it on some 16mm, so they head off to go watch it.
How did people watch stuff in the old days?
Seriously, people were basically animals before Netflix.
God, you can just tell this movie was desperate to get that Netflix deal. Oh my God. Shut up. The documentary explains the fetuses got mutated and were birthed with horrible defects like this kid. Look at that, man. Some of the footage they show is actually really gross and well made. I wouldn't be surprised if they used real footage, but this is where the movie kind of splits into a completely different movie in my mind. This documentary is weirdly dark compared to how not scary at all the rest of the movie is, and it kind of establishes that basically the main villain of the movie are just a group of horribly disfigured kids that were transformed into demons because they were treated so poorly in a basement, and everybody just hated them so much. Also, this girl keeps referencing not wanting kids, so I think like some of the subtle messaging in here is about pro-abortion, which, don't get me wrong, I agree with the sentiment. Wow, so brave. But I don't know if abstinence and abortions can save you from disabled demon babies is really the way you want to start presenting that argument, you know what I mean? Anyway, Spencer sets up some bot to find who the meme will forward itself to next. Also, yeah, they abandoned the whole hitting the floor activates it thing, and now it just starts sending itself to people, so it's literally just Smile Dog. They also keep making more fourth wall jokes.
If that happened to me, I would not sit around and scream like I was in a horror movie. I would drop everything, get in the car, and drive to fucking Cleveland. Even better.
They give us some creepy shots of these disabled kids, and again, just kind of an odd message that your horror villain is disabled children that are being treated poorly. But we've got skeleton dude, girl holding doll, horse girl, and the guy with like 30 arms. Oh, and the chained up trash bag kid. Apparently he was born with inside out skin, so they fucking chained him to a wall in a basement. Yeah, man. Just shoot me at that point. Don't chain me to just kill me. They decide to go find the dude in the documentary to go ask him some questions.
There's a phone number.
No way, calling is way too intense.
He's like 70. Okay, yeah, we'll send him a Snapchat.
You start regretting me.
God, this is like a Hallmark movie, but make it like 4% scarier. It's just, it's the worst. What's that Senorita Awesome clip?
Welcome to the grind. How may I help you?
Pumpkin spice latte, please. I want it freezing, though. Actually, I just want a regular coffee. Those white girl pumpkin spice lattes annoy me.
I'm in love. Name?
Senorita Awesome.
They show up to the doctor's house. Apparently he's bedridden, so they talk to his wife, who was also a nurse down there. So she gives them this big lore dump. She talks them up as these sad, tortured souls, but does specifically mention that they became evil to the world because they were raised in a hospital and shunned from society. And they were called the Halloween Party because they wore masks. That's why they were called that. She also mentions in literally one sentence and then never again that a few of the kids liked computers, which I guess was their way of explaining the meme, you know, this thing that the entire movie was supposed to be about. I don't know, man. Who cares? Who cares? Evil ass meme, dude. The doctor guy wakes up and can't speak, so he uses this little iPad, and they ask him some questions until they eventually show him the picture of the foreshadow dude, and he freaks the fuck out. Surprisingly, Barbara, his wife, is super chill about it. She's like, oh, you know, these things happen. I'm like, he's foaming at the mouth, lady. I don't know if those things just happen. She also goes like, oh, here's this Indonesian bird charm. It'll probably protect you because the children, like, wanted to hurt us and stuff, which I'm thinking maybe it's because you chained them up. I wonder why they're mad. They decide that they're in too deep and they just decide to delete the virus and fix the brick and just forget it exists, right? But unfortunately, Spencer left his laptop in the lab and the computer geeks decided they want to see the virus for themselves. Uh-oh. This movie feels so fucking long. It's only an hour and a half long. I want you to keep that in mind. This movie is only an hour and a half. An hour and a half? Whoa. Afton? Spencer finds out that they forwarded the meme to Garrett, so he runs off. He makes it to Garrett's house, the dude that was Bubbles' best friend, and like I mentioned, he literally has no idea what Spencer is talking about. None of them in here do, even though they were with Bubbles when he died. Garrett has to put in his biggest fear or die, and he gets really sad and dark for a second, and he types in alcoholic mother, which is never brought up again. They never go this, like, sad again. And it was just really off tone with the rest of the movie. I don't know. Garrett's bros all get mad at Spencer when all of a sudden his name pops up on the laptop. He tries to go do it, but they hold him down and make him fail because they're mad. They're like, we want to see the witch, bro. And now Spencer's gonna die to a bear, I guess. He mentioned earlier his biggest fear was bears. I don't know if I put that in here. What? Also, Court, this guy is like, what? Oh, now you're gonna die? And he's like, no, Court. we're all gonna die now. And I'm like, you guys established that it just kills the person who didn't type it in. What does he mean it's gonna kill everyone? Did they just forget how their own virus works? I don't know. Oh, I also want to mention this entire movie is shot in broad daylight, but it's a Halloween movie. I feel like if you're gonna make any movie in the dark, it's gonna be a Halloween movie. That's like the movie to shoot at night. This guy's Halloween costume is a garbage bag. Before these two bros head out on their Halloween epicness, Court needs to take a huge dumpy. That's the line. I didn't write that. That's him. They both start getting haunted by some demon children, which again makes no sense because the meme said Spencer, not Spencer and all of his friends in the room. But I don't know, because by this logic, Grace should have died with Zoe, right? She was in the room with Zoe. She should die too. Court dies to a demon girl in this toilet. Good man, why? Also, Trash Bag Man dies like this. That is actually how they cut it. Why does this movie just cut the death scene immediately? It feels like those made-for-TV cuts when the movie's like M, but they want to show it on Sci-Fi. So they have it happen for like a split second and then just drop it. We come back to Spencer, who ran home. I guess this is his mom. They don't really explain where he is, but he is fucking terrified of Halloween costumes now. So he's freaking out, right? He looks outside and it's the Skull Kid. From the freaking video, dude, oh my god. We cut over to Grace, who has way too long of a scene of her just sitting in a bathtub. Seriously, it's like 5 full minutes of her just like getting in and chilling in this bathtub before going back to Spencer, who is freaking out on the Skull Kid.
Back or I'll brain you. I know who you are. I'm Greg.
Guys, chill, it's just Greg. Hi, Greg. Some other kid shows up and kills Spencer's mom or whoever that was, so him and Grace both sprint to her van and hop into it, right? We then get my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Fuck! Is that one of them?
Run it over.
No, I can't just run it over. What if it isn't one of them?
Run it over.
To be fair, I would be screaming this if I was in the passenger seat too. You know, just hit the bitch. You know what I mean? Just hit it. Anyways, it jumps over the car and shatters the front windshield. So they get back out and sprint to the basement that they said was walled off. You know, like the open lit up hallway. They keep going further in. Grace's phone is about to die, so she pulls out a lighter. Really bright lighter, by the way. And they walk around, but it keeps going out. So she keeps like lighting it back up to do that like kind of jump scare thing. And eventually they do that, and the fucking mattress guys down there from the documentary, they keep getting closer to him for some reason, like trying to talk to him until he pog faces at them and they sprint off down the hallway. They eventually find this red room, and they find some outlet in there and charge her phone, right? And this movie is just so slow. It's so slow. She looks at some images on her phone and is like, oh my God, birds. Birds like freedom. We need to free the kids. So they plan their escape out of the basement to go break those bricks upstairs, right? Her phone is now charged enough, so they pull out that infrared camera from earlier and they use it to navigate. They put it on like a stick. They're really Chekhov's gunning in it here, aren't they? Hey, remember that camera we mentioned for 5 seconds? Here it is. They fumble around in the dark for a solid like 5-10 minutes before, what is that? They see this girl on the camera and it fucking murders Spencer. And I'm not even joking. I was so clocked out at this point. I genuinely did not notice that he died here until I watched it back for some notes. It was such a short death. He's like the co-main character of the whole movie. And they kill him in half a second. I don't know, it felt so unsatisfying. Grace sprints off and immediately finds an exit. And I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place, you know, but it was like right around the corner. But she should be good now, right? Because they were only after him because he put his name in it, not anyone else. I don't get how this creature works. I really don't. Anyway, she makes it back to Zoe's room and uses a weight to break open the bricks to free the demons, and God himself shines through the floor, I guess. It's so insanely bright, but the demons disappear and she is finally free from the Halloween party. Or is she? She goes and returns that bird charm to the doctor lady and lets her know that she freed the creature. And this scene specifically pisses me off so badly because it is a direct rip off of The Ring. Like a 1-to-1 complete rip. The lady's like, why did you release them? We bricked them in to protect us. oh, you've doomed us all, which is exactly how the ring ends. I was so mad. Anyways, Grace boards a flight to Thailand to escape it all when suddenly every screen gets the Halloween curse on it because she's not safe. They also end this movie with this, what I'm assuming is a Thai couple speaking Thai, and for no reason. And then everyone dies to random fears on the plane, like this bear. This movie made me suicide. Anyways, that's it for the Halloween party. It's okay if you need to change your pants or, you know, call your mom. It was pretty freaking scary, dude. In all seriousness, the camera was actually the best part by far. Usually these movies have horrible camera work, so that was honestly a shock to me, but good God, it could not make up for how awful the script was. None of it connects in any good way. It feels like it was trying to be 8 different movies, and it didn't succeed at being any of them. Also, the kills were just strange. Like, why does it just cut halfway through the jump scare or kill every time? I wouldn't be surprised if this was gorier or something, and it was just made for TV cuts every time, because they feel really jarring. Like, that's not how they were supposed to be cut. And I mean, the acting wasn't the worst I've ever seen, but it was definitely immersion breaking at times. Honestly though, I think I would blame that more on the script than the actors themselves. Like, these are supposed to be college students, and they're talking like a group of moms in their 40s who still think they're cool and know how to write for teenagers. Sorry, Mom.
It's just, oh, fuck. Help.